So for over a decade, I've been working in my community with young people who have historically and systemically been under-resourced. And I've been using art and media and poetry and any means necessary to create safe spaces and cultivate communities that are accountable to one another, hopefully disrupting the dominant narratives that have permeated our media, and instead supporting an environment in which young people have the agency to tell their own stories on their own terms. 5 years ago, after completing I went and completed a graduate thesis in which I was looking at witnessing and trauma, titled The Sensate Witness, the Performance of Presence. And in this, I was interrogating and asking for a reconfiguration of the word witness, which means to see and therefore to know. So it prioritizes the visual and the cognitive. And my question is, what happens when we know something that we do not see, that is neither visual nor cognitive? What happens when our knowledge and our memory is corporal, embodied? How then do we testify? How then do we tell our stories? So immediately upon finishing my graduate work, I was living firsthand exactly that which I had theorized. 6 weeks after submitting my thesis, I was pressed up against the suffering of a young man who lived 5 blocks from my house, was the age of my students, had completed an 8th grade education, and told me over and over and over in my own home as he assaulted me, if you look at me, I'll kill you. If you look at me, I'll kill you. If you look at me, I'll kill you. So he knew what it means to be a witness. And he tried to protect himself from my power to see and therefore to know. My body testified. And I was then called into a criminal investigation and a Supreme Court trial with other victims of his suffering, to be pulled into a court case that landed him with multiple life sentences. And this did not make me feel any better, because I have an understanding that hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. And so what is it going to do to take someone who has been hurt and therefore hurts and put him into an environment that will continue to hurt and hurt and hurt and hurt? And then what? And how do we interrupt these cycles of violence? How do we create open people who open people, instead of hurt people who hurt people? And how can we disrupt the dichotomy of victim and perpetrator and interrupt that with an analysis of questioning what happens to us all when we are born into this world with horizons before us? So with that, I'm going to share 3 poems. Blue, black, brother, black and blue. I caught my horoscope in the light of your pupil, stained by drive-by brothers in blue, leading you into a maze made for a wealthy state, prescribing prosecutions at a healthy rate so that the rich feel safe and never have to wait to know the devil's ready got a date to disappear forever. But who defines such a lie as the infinity of time until the next man's caught for crimes they calculate? Because capitalism demands a lower class, They'll keep you high and broke and on your ass, depriving minds of flight inside this system, sweeping secrets under carpets while they satiate you. With their 40-ounce concoction of stale piss they know you'll buy because it's cheaper than the water out your faucet and you're thirsty. Because it's cheaper than the water out your faucet and you're thirsty. While they sip sake on the Upper East Side, planted across your path with a DWI, and you know you'll never be tried. Because you don't have no voice, boy. You don't have no choice, keep you locked up inside, stripped till you bleed black and blue. Brother, they're waiting for you to sleep so they can penetrate your dreams and program patterns in your DNA to raise our boys with fear and hate. So we're recycled. Although our mayor calls it trash, we are recycled. Until our children reenact these earthly cycles and I'm left reading time behind your eyes and saying prayers, I'm hypnotized by bruises buried under eyelids that I memorize when you're inside of me. I wonder if you taste my privilege when you swallow me. And if our son would recognize the texture of his battlefield inside my breast milk, spitting up the differences between us on my shoulder, when he's older, will my nectar curdle? One more hurdle I could float above until the stakes are high again, and I am humbled by the lullabies I laughed at in my youth. Acknowledge difference, know advantage, question power. And don't surrender to the hour when your limbs are heavy and your heart is tired, because they'll be there waiting with a smile and a hand behind their back to catch you as you fall. You're black. They're blue. And they're all over you like flies to death. They'll feed from you until you leave that body that they cursed. I cradled, turning fables into facts and flesh into the ether. Promised grandma when I passed I'd be right there to meet her. Warrior of woman who survived the weight of hatred that I tasted in my mother's womb and in your father's kiss. The combination of our love was not enough for you to miss the truth of your reality. He blinded me with passion and survival, combined with me to pray for a revival of our people, but equal is a farce, like freedom and forever. So we fight this truth together and refuse to be recycled, thrown away, or falsely titled, and I'd suck bruises from your bones if that would make it better. Or less black and blue, at least transform police from overseers back to officers who kept the peace, then didn't call you brother once they stopped you on the streets. My blue, black brother, black and blue. Yeah. Thank you.
New in May.
I am not poor. I'm not illiterate. I'm not a sugar daddy's girl. I'm not a whore. And yes, I know these things that women know now. I'm a statistic now, a victim now. That's what they call me. Another mother woman, lover woman, daughter woman, sister woman, healer woman, magic woman, frightened woman, broken by the victims of this system, where we train boys to be criminals, subliminal. It's in the cafeteria, the armed security, the way the ladies cross the street and clutch their purses, your teacher curses and daddy's locked up, mom's exhausted and mental health care is taboo. So if you're sick, boo, you're a criminal. Go get a gun, another name, and learn the streets where you belong, boy. Better be strong, boy. Better be strong, boy. Be a man. Another little boy locked up. Another woman scared to walk alone without a home. Another mother panicked. Father angry, and I need a break. Please, Mr. NYPD, SVU, yeah, you, I need a break. He breaks up, breaks down, breaks in, breaks her, and she is me. And we're in 3. And I'm afraid it isn't over. I'm afraid it didn't start with me. Just find him, please, and lock him up and love him. Put him in a cell and make somebody love him, damn it. Make somebody love him. Let him cry. He needs to find his salt, his water. Cactus thirsty in the desert, so he looks for light, for life, and tries to take it, steal it, to absorb that beauty, freedom, life force that we're made of. Leaves us empty shells and shadows. Lock him in a cell and make somebody love him. Damn it, make somebody love him and hold him when he cries and catch him when he crumbles. I was raped. I was raped at gunpoint. I was raped at gunpoint in my elevator. I was raped at gunpoint in my elevator by a stranger. I was raped at gunpoint in my elevator by a stranger. He threatened to kill me. I was raped at gunpoint in my elevator by a stranger. He threatened to kill me, and he was so young. I was raped at gunpoint in my elevator by a stranger. He threatened to kill me, and he was so young and so scared, and so young and so scared and angry. I tried not to scream. I tried not to cry. I tried not to die. Whatever I had to do to stay alive. With thunder in my ribs that makes my body jump the way it did when he attacked me. That moment that haunts me, makes my breath stop, shoulders locked, rewinds the clock, and I don't want to die. So I survived. His lips were tight. His eyes were cold. His face was mean. And I took care of him.
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 And I take care of me. And we take care of we. And you are the game changers. The rearrangers of our sacred geometry, what we call law, rewriting it. Because you don't belong to me or anybody else. You are a newborn nation. The next generation of visionaries and prophets. And I tell you this from the residue of my grandmother's protest songs in Auschwitz. And we can't hold you back. Hung from chains around your necks, we can't protect you from this battlefield that you have harvested. And I tell you this from the rage catalyzed by students swept away in warships. This garden bore a strange fruit. And now we've recruited you to save us from a future you've inherited from our mistakes, our greed, our bigotry, and here we seek their ministry to set us free. I wrote this poem for you, because you can change the game. I see you, shapeshifter. I see you, survivor. I see you, warrior, believer, daydreamer. I see you. In the asphalt cracked shadows you skip over, I see you. Despite the real estate sharks' deceptive foreclosures, I see you. In the stop and frisk rituals you let roll off your shoulders, your magic game changers, I see you.